If you want to dominate your fantasy football league this year, these are the top quarterback rankings you need to know. 5. Fields is not an elite real-life QB, but he is an elite fantasy QB. The man averaged 76 rushing yards per game, the equivalent of 190 fantasy passing yards. Add that to his measly 150 passing yard average, which will be better this year with a better O-line, and that's the equivalent of 340 passing yards on a per-game basis. Quarterback rushing yards are a cheat code in fantasy quarterback play, and Fields is an elite fantasy quarterback. 4. Lamar Jackson. Yes, he's been injured. Yes, you don't know his availability. That's why he's not a tier 1 fantasy player, but he is an elite fantasy asset. He's averaged 65 yards a game over his entire career. He's getting a new OC, OBJ, Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman, and Mark Andrews as his weapons. This will be the best situation he's been in his entire career. 3. Mahomes is the best quarterback in the NFL, arguably the best of all time. He'll give you about 20 rushing yards and close in on 300 passing yards each and every game. 2. Josh Allen's averaging almost 50 rushing yards a game in back-to-back seasons. Even though last year was a down year for him, he was still the number 2 overall fantasy quarterback. The past 3 seasons, he's been number 3, number 1, and number 2. 1. Hurts has averaged over 50 rushing yards per game in back-to-back seasons. That's the equivalent of 375 passing yards when you add his almost 250 passing yards on a per-game basis. Not if you want to dominate